The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. This lesson introduces only one character, a very common and useful one, composed of a hand holding an ornamental staff, while its owner stands on a mound. Pronounced fourth tone, 对, 对. This ancient combination represented one of two honor guards standing on either side of the king. This original pictograph was later extended to mean a pair of anything, since there were two honor guards facing each other or the emperor. Although 一对 is not the most common phrase for a pair, it's one possibility. 她有着一对迷人的眼睛. She has a pair of captivating eyes. 这真是天生一对. This is a match made in heaven. Similar to 天作之合 in Lesson 87, both idioms refer to a match blessed by God. A Chinese couplet, or 对联, is made up of two separate scrolls, usually 4 to 7 characters on each, which often end in a rhyme. They're usually found on doors, walls, or windows, offering best wishes for the new year. 这个有名的对联是什么意思? What does this well-known Chinese couplet mean? We've already seen that 白话 means the informal speech found in conversation. So 对白 refers to dialogue in a movie or play, literally face-to-face speech. 这个电影几乎没有什么对白. This movie has hardly any dialogue. In Lesson 39, we learned that 兑水 meant to dilute with water. This same pronunciation, 兑水, but with today's new character, means the same thing, literally to match or pair with water. 请你给我兑点开水好吗? Could you please add a little water? Since 对 means a pair, it also means mutual, two sides interacting, as when using an intercom, 对讲机. 门口有个对讲机，可以叫人给你开门. There's an intercom at the entrance to call someone to open the gate. 对打, literally, mutually beating, would describe two people coming to blows. 仇人对打之后，其中一个的眼睛被打青了. After their punch-up, one of the rivals had a black eye. You'll remember from Lesson 52, when learning the character 青, that it could mean 3 different colors. Green, as in 青草, blue, as in 青天, or black, as in 青丝, the black hair of a girl or woman. So, if you think about it, using 青 to describe a bad bruise seems the right color combination. 对骂 is also easily understood to mean two people shouting names and accusations back and forth. 对骂之后，那两个男人就打了起来. After telling each other off, the two men started fighting. In this next example, we have two rather dramatic-sounding idioms describing a painful breakup. 你们分手时，请不要呼天抢地、你死我活的对骂。When breaking up, please don't scream and cry and shout spiteful words at each other. So, 呼天抢地 literally means calling out to heaven while banging one's head and pounding one's fists on the ground. The second idiom we've seen before, 你死我活, meaning to fight to the death, literally to your death. When answering questions effortlessly and without hesitation, the phrase 对答如流 applies. 大使对国家的问题对答如流. The ambassador gave fluent answers to questions on national affairs. This next four-character expression, 无言以对, means to be at a loss for a response. Literally, to have nothing to say in reply. 他说的是真心话，小林无言以对. Her heartfelt words left Xiaolin without a comeback. 他们听了我解说之后，都无言以对. Once they'd heard my explanation, they had nothing more to say in opposition. 当他被说的无言以对时，他当然会生气. Of course, he'll lose his temper when he can't give you an answer. Since those two honor guards are facing each other or the emperor, it's easy to visualize the expression 对坐, meaning to sit face to face. 我们时常对坐着，分享彼此的思想. We often sit face to face, sharing our thoughts. 一对情人搭火车，对坐闲聊. A pair of lovers boarded the train, sat across from each other, and chatted. A more complete phrase for face to face is 面对面. 这件事情面对面说明最为恰当. The most appropriate way to explain this matter is in person. When you want to use the verb to face metaphorically, simply leave off the second face and say 面对. 你必须面对这个可能性. You must face that possibility. 面对黑手党的介入，我们无能为力. When faced with underworld involvement, there's nothing we can do about it. 这个问题颇为重要，联合国不得不面对. This is quite an important problem that the United Nations must tackle head on. The combination 对着 also means physically facing or pointing in a specified direction. 他从公事包里拿左轮枪出来，枪口对着我. From his briefcase, he pulled out a revolver and trained it on me. 要是屋子是对着大街，会使我无法合眼. If the room faces the main thoroughfare, I'll never get a wink of sleep. Being too ashamed to face someone gave rise to the Chinese way to say, I'm sorry, or excuse me, 对不起, which literally translates as, I cannot bring myself to face you. 对不起，我得走了. Excuse me, but I've got to be going. 对不起，叫您久等了. Sorry to keep you waiting. 对不起，给你们找麻烦了. I'm sorry for giving you so much trouble. From its precise translation of being too ashamed to face someone, negative 对不起 and affirmative 对得起 can also be used as verbs, meaning to disappoint someone, be unfair to them, or unworthy of them. 他何必跟你吵？你从来没有对不起过他。Why is he picking a fight with you? You've never been unfaithful to him in any way. Notice that the particle 过, denoting experience, follows 对不起, just like it would a normal verb. 你这样的行为太对不起你的父母。Your behavior is really a disgrace to your parents. In other words, you're truly letting them down. If you switch the characters 面对 around and say 对面, you're pointing to the person or thing opposite you. 他们家就在我家对面. Their house is opposite mine. 朋友在街道对面向我连连招手. My friend kept waving at me from across the street. 吃早餐的时候，我坐在他的对面。I sat across from him while eating breakfast. 相对 is similar to an expression learned before. 相反 meaning opposite. 相对, however, means opposite in relation to something else. 真跟伪这两个字是相对的。The words genuine and fake are opposites. 你的外语能力相对的比你哥哥好。Relative to your brother, your foreign language ability is better. 光速在相对论中起着特别的作用。The speed of light has a special function in the theory of relativity. The phrase 对象 is a noun referring to the object of an action. 你为什么会成为被指责的对象？ Why did you become the object of criticism? 为什么要问我？我不是你要找的对象。Why are you asking me? I'm not the one you're looking for. 他的内向使他成为被耍弄的对象。His shyness made him the butt of much teasing. 你多大了？40出头了，你不想找个对象吗？ How old are you? Over 40. Aren't you thinking about getting married? 歹徒下手的对象就像你这样天真的人。Criminals set their sights on naive people like you. 对 also serves as a very useful preposition, indicating who or what is on the receiving end of an action. 你别怕，我对你有信心。Don't be afraid, I've got confidence in you. 这件事对你我都有面子。This event is good for you and me both. Meaning, of course, we both have gained face. 不用当一回事，他的话不是真正对着你。Pay no attention. Her comments weren't actually directed at you. 对这么重要的事情，我不会信口开河。When it comes to such an important matter, my lips are sealed. Remember the idiom, 信口开河, meaning literally to give your mouth free rein and let it flow like a river. In other words, to wag your tongue irresponsibly. 他的工作很累，对家里的一切不闻不问。Her job is so exhausting she can't be bothered with anything at home. 我来吧，我对这些比你在行。Let me do it. I'm better at these things than you. You'll recall that the character 行 refers not only to a crossroads, but also the merchants and the various occupations found along the streets, including the know-how they possess. So, 在行 means a person has expert knowledge in a certain field. 女友气呼呼地对他说，死也不会嫁给他。In a rage, his girlfriend said she'd rather die than marry him. There's not much difference between 跟他说 and 对他说, except the one with 跟 is the more common expression. 他幻想跟明星面对面说出对他的情意。She fantasizes about meeting the celebrity in person and expressing her affection for him. Another common phrase is 对我来说 for me, or as far as I'm concerned, which, of course, can be changed to any other personal pronoun. 对我来说，一切看着都不顺心。As far as I'm concerned, everything is less than satisfactory. 这对你来说是个很好的机会。This is an excellent opportunity for you. 对他来说，这个问题出的真不是时候。This problem came up at a very bad time for him. 他的过失对我来说不是什么大不了的事。For me, this unintentional error of his is nothing serious. 我对你来说好像是一个可有可无的人。It seems my existence means nothing to you. 可有可无 translates as unnecessary or easily dispensed with. 你当然知道什么对儿女来说是最好的。Of course, you know what's best for your children. To oppose, stand against, or be against is rendered as 反对。我反对把这件事再给拖了下去。I object to putting this matter off any further. 我们可以肯定他一定反对。Of one thing we can be sure, she'll oppose it. 他们联合起来反对我们。They joined forces to oppose us. 大家反对他的计划，他照样不予理会。He ignored everyone's opposition to his plan and went through with it anyway. 如今，我们无法跟反对党合作。There's no way we can cooperate with the opposition party nowadays. In Lesson 64, we encountered the term 仇人, meaning a sworn enemy or foe. Another term with a similar meaning is 死对头, literally one's adversary to the death. My Chinese friends say 仇人 is a much stronger term than 死对头。我小时候的死对头是一个耍弄我的女生。When I was young, my sworn enemy was a girl who made fun of me. 中国把日本当死对头的日子早已过去了。The days when China considered Japan its arch enemy have long passed. And many Chinese people tell me this particular sentence is false because having an enemy is politically useful. 大家都知道你跟他是死对头，不可能合作。Everybody knows the two of you are bitter rivals, incapable of cooperating. A person's opponent or match in a competition is his or her 对手。在最后一回合，他把对手打倒在地。In the last round, he knocked his opponent to the ground. 你在力气上根本不是我的对手。When it comes to physical strength, you're no match for me. 他今天找到了他的对手。He's met his match today. 对上, 对得上, and 对不上 indicate that two things match or fit together, such as replacement parts, electric wires, or doors. 对个火儿, give me a light. This is what a smoker in Beijing might say to you while pulling out a cigarette, seeing that you are lighting one too. 把门对上, push the door to. 把门关上 would convey the same idea of closing the door completely. 这两个理论无法对得上. These two theories cannot be reconciled at all. Here is a 6-character phrase meaning totally irrelevant, something not matching reality. 牛头不对马嘴. Translating word for word as, a horse's mouth doesn't fit on the head of an ox. 它的说明根本是牛头不对马嘴，乱说一通。His clarification was completely irrelevant, utter nonsense. Notice the unusual measure word 通 in 乱说一通, meaning literally through and through. 别问了，他的回答全是牛头不对马嘴。Don't ask. He'll just come up with some totally unrelated response. A common expression referring to marriage partners' well-matched social and economic status is 门当户对. Literally, it translates as equal doors, matching households. 父母急着要给女儿找个门当户对的对象. The parents are eager to find a suitable marriage partner for their daughter. 你怎能娶她呢？根本是门不当户不对. How can you marry her? She's simply not of your social standing. 他想为女儿找一个门当户对的婆家. He hopes to find a good husband for his daughter. That is, he wants to find a good family for his daughter, since she will become the member of a different ancestral clan. A disparaging term for a married daughter is 泼出去的水, literally, water thrown out the door. This is the main reason why, to this day, most Chinese people still prefer sons to daughters. If 对 depicts an honor guard, they would be dressed in matching outfits and of equal stature. So 对等 means two things are equal. 他们之间不是对等的关系. Their relationship is not one of equals, such as a king and his courtiers, a boss and her employees, etc. We learned the phrase 相称 in Lesson 71, meaning that two things match, suit, or fit just right. When paired with 对, 对称, we have the proper expression for symmetry or symmetrical, two sides that match. 对称是好看的重要因素. Symmetry is an important factor in beauty. 著名画家的作品都以对称为主题. Symmetry is the main theme of this artist's works. The character B in Lesson 68 depicts two women standing close together, giving it the meaning of close proximity, one next to the other, which is obviously useful in making comparisons, placing two things side by side. 对比 means to contrast those two things, to show where they differ. 通过对比可以看出这三个理论的差别. By contrasting the three theories, their differences become apparent. 你的背景跟白手起家的人有明显的对比. Your background is in sharp contrast to someone who started from nothing. 在内向跟外向的心理之间 我们来做个对比。Let me contrast the mindsets of introverts versus extroverts. 男女两性在友情上的分别可以做对比。The difference between male and female friendships can be shown in contrast. In Lesson 84, I suggested that without a light source, 照, nothing is visible to the eye. So, 照 implies something opposite that is being illuminated. By adding today's character, 对照, we have another term for contrast, two very different items appearing opposite or side by side. 黑上衣搭上白围巾，成了好看的对照。A white scarf contrasts nicely with a black jacket. 他的行为跟诺言成了显著的对照。His actions are in sharp contrast to his promises. 把两者对照一下，看看有什么出入。Compare the two and see if there are any discrepancies. 使用说明的小册子有中英对照。The directions booklet is bilingual Chinese-English. Literally, a page of Chinese faces an opposite page of English. As we've seen in all these lessons, Chinese does not have a simple word for English yes. Instead, the verb is repeated. For example, 你要吗? With 要 meaning yes and 不要 meaning no. However, Chinese does have a term for that's right, 对, or that's wrong, 不对. This meaning naturally arises from that pair of honor guards depicted by 对, indicating that a statement either does or does not correspond to reality. 我不知道我的想法对不对. I don't know whether my opinion is right or not. 他一看苗头不对，就溜了. He slipped off when he saw what was going to happen. That is, something was wrong. There were signs of something unpleasant about to occur. 你这样指责他，是你的不对. You were wrong to criticize him. Notice that 不对 is being used as a noun here. 你的不对. 他连一个问题都没答对. He didn't answer correctly even one question. 我理当负责，是我不对. I ought to bear responsibility. I was wrong. Notice that 不对 is being used as an adjective here. 是我不对. 这么好的天气，待在家里，好像不对. It feels wrong to stay inside on such a nice day. 你不通知而失约，是不对的. Your not showing up for a date without prior notice is wrong. 不对头 is a phrase meaning something is off. It doesn't fit. It doesn't correspond to what is usual. Literally, the ends don't match up. 他们两个人因为个性不对头而合不来. Their personalities clash, so they don't get along. 今天看起来心情有点不对头，你怎么了? You seem to be out of sorts today. What's wrong? It's important to be impartial when discussing a topic, voicing one's criticisms without resorting to personal attacks. Chinese uses the phrase 对事不对人. 沟通问题的时候，一定要对事不对人. When discussing a problem, concern oneself only with the facts and not the individual. 我们跟你无仇，我们是对事，而不对人。We harbor no hostility. We're dealing only with the facts, and not you personally. The character 对 implies a pair, a partner, or something opposite. So 对待 means how we treat another person or thing. 他把我当作他家人对待。He treats me like a member of his family. 你那样对待你妈妈太不像话了。The way you treat your mother is outrageous. 你如此对待员工，他们当然会另找工作。It's normal for your staff to look for work elsewhere, given the way you treat them. 这可是个需要慎重对待的问题。This is a matter that must be dealt with cautiously. 你理当从宽对待他们。You ought to treat them leniently. You'll recall that 从 means to follow or conform. So, 从宽 would mean to be lenient towards an offender. Literally, conform or adhere to the concept of leniency. 从小，我的父母就很公正地对待我们。Since we were children, my parents treated all of us fairly. Here is our color chart with today's only character. 对 Here's a summary of today's lesson. This lesson has only a single new character, 对, which depicts a hand holding an ornamental staff, while the person stands on a raised mound. It's a simple sketch meant to represent one of two honor guards standing on either side of the monarch. Here's a slide summarizing the 5 basic uses of 对. First, it means a pair, since there are 2 honor guards. For example, 一对眼睛. Second, just as 2 guards face each other, or the emperor, this character can mean to face someone or something, as in 面对. Third, those honor guards have matching uniforms and stature. So 对 also refers to how one thing matches another, as in 对照 and 对称. Fourth, it represents contrast or an opposing position, one against the other, as in 反对 and 对手. And fifth, it can be used to describe one's relationship with another person, how one treats him or her, as in 对待. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.